Matty Loves Podcast. Matty Loves Podcast.
Welcome back. Another episode of Matty Loves Podcast is coming to you right now live from the Matt Cave in Winter Park, Florida. I'm your host, Matt D. Simone. Joining me as always is Dr. Tom Lucas. What is good, man?
The Matt Cave. Are you going for a Batman 66 thing in here, or is it more of a, I don't know, Michael Keaton thing or a Nolan thing? I don't see Nolan. It's too bright in here for a Nolan piece.
Yeah, I always preferred. Yeah, it's too bright for any of that. But if I were to have like a setup out of Batman movies, if not the Ben Affleck set in the new film, because where he's staying is plush.
Oh yeah.
But I loved the Batman Forever Val Kilmer setup. I like the mahogany. Everything was like wood.
Yeah.
You know, it was dope. So anyway, we're back here this week. We're gonna be talking a little bit about comic book related stuff, but over last week, I guess now when this is gonna be posted, the E3 big conference happened.
E3. I went once. I went to E3 once in 2000.
Oh, but that was back when 2000. It was the East Sanford Comic Con.
It was called E3. You could walk around though and breathe. Right. I went to Comic-Con around that same time too, and I remember walking the expo hall and not having a problem. Not the hundreds of thousands of people.
So E3 is an event that is held every year where your top video game designers, producers, creators, what have you, all converge on where is this? Is this in Vegas, LA? Where do they have this?
When I went, it was like out in
it's West Coast, I know.
It was east of LA. It's not quite Anaheim. It's that sort of area.
It's out there. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm just always curious this time of year, seeing what kind of video games are coming out, because as I've said before, I'm a video game jock. I play a lot of the sports games for the most part. However, if a game's got a good story and someone can sell it to me on the story, I will definitely give it a whirl, like the Uncharted games. I love those games. Mm-hmm. Any of your Rockstar games, for the most part, I always enjoy playing those.
Did you ever play Bully?
Yeah. Actually, I have it on my PlayStation 3.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered about that.
Yeah, I downloaded that. It was all right. It was slower than I remember, old PlayStation games being or whatever, PlayStation 2 games. But anyway, so, I mean, like I said, if it's got a compelling story like Red Dead Redemption, which is probably my favorite video game of all time, if a game has got a good enough story, I'm all in. And it's been a while since I've had a game come across the pike to where I'm like, well, the story's so good, I just love it.
Have you ever played The Last of Us?
No, I haven't. You've told me to play it multiple times.
I have to play it too. I mean, every month my students ask me why I haven't played it yet.
Interesting.
I went to GameStop the other week, and I was like, am I going to finally do The Last of Us? Or, oh, wait, Doom came out. Let's shoot demons.
Oh, you got Doom?
I went and bought Doom.
Yeah. Bethesda.
First of all, Bethesda is my jam. I like everything Bethesda does. I'm a real fan, loyal
Nothing
customer.
that they presented at E3 really got me going.
I didn't even get to see it. So what do you recall what they presented?
Yeah, it was not really memorable. They announced a lot more maps for Doom are on the way.
Oh, yeah.
For multiplayer stuff and things like that. And people were excited to hear about that. Bethesda has one game in particular that I know that's coming out that has to do with Vikings and shit.
Okay.
It looks real profound.
Okay.
So I know that they do have something big on the way.
Is it the Skyrim redo?
they announced that.
Okay, but it's something else?
But yeah.
Okay.
This was like Vikings
Skyrim
or some shit.
has a very heavy Nordic flavor
to
it.
Maybe
to
that
the art direction.
I don't know.
But
all that shit looks the same to me.
I ended up putting that in my retirement plan because I will spend 3 hours exploring a cave and not even getting to the story.
Well, did you beat Fallout 4?
Oh, not yet.
Yeah.
No, not by a long shot.
Yeah.
I am getting back into the swing of gaming. For a while there, I couldn't find any time to play. So the last thing you're going to do is sit down with a game like Fallout 4, which is a long game. You know, a long game.
My problem is I won't stop once I get into it. I mean,
well, that's why sports games are good for you.
The Batman games.
Yeah.
I mean, I would play those like straight on for 4 hours. I mean, I remember the first time I sat down and played the first Batman Arkham game.
Yeah.
I played half the game in one, like story-wise, I played half the story mode almost in one sitting.
Yeah, I get that.
Metal Gear Solid. That's my favorite video game story to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Because the first time I played Metal Gear Solid was in 2009.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Like, the original Metal Gear Solid that came out for PlayStation 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay? I'd never played it before, ever. And I was sick as hell, man. I had a flu, stopped up, whatever. I just pulled the couch up to the television. I ripped it off of my friend's PlayStation Plus account.
Yeah.
And for like 3 days, man, I was Solid Snake.
Yeah.
Pliskin.
Right.
Whatever. That game was
what
awesome.
I would give for a proper Snake Plissken game.
No doubt.
Oh, my God.
Why can't the company that makes it, why can't Kojima be like, you know what?
They made the Warriors.
Right. Why don't they make Escape from New York, man?
Right?
Escape from the world.
Yeah.
Escape from Earth. So anyway, I have with me here in my trusty notes, a few of the highlights that I saw from the E3
and I've
convention.
seen many of them, but there's a few that I need to get schooled on.
Yes, so let me see here. Okay, I guess first off, Injustice 2.
Yeah.
I played the first Injustice game, and I was one of the few that really wasn't impressed, I guess, just because I was like, these are like not even like a shell of the heroes.
I played the demo.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because, look, it's a button masher. Right. I was never one of those kids that could memorize all the combos and do all that stuff.
Right.
I play the distance and I mash buttons and I see what happens.
But they were easier back in the day before they got all intricate with it. We had the Ryu fireball motion, forwards or backwards.
Yeah.
The hurricane kick, forwards or backwards, and all the fighting games, they all did that.
Yeah.
Even the full-on 360 spin, which was tough to do sometimes. And while you bought the arcade fighting controller for your system, that's what I did. So I could do Zangief all day long.
Oh, and Mortal Kombat, man. I rolled Mortal Kombat on my Sega.
Dude, I had
all day
a
and all
poster
night.
with all of the moves on the wall right next to where I played. So I just look over and be like, I know all the fatalities, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but they got too like crazy with the button, and it's like you gotta do a combo and then a combo fatality.
Stick your left arm out a window, and you gotta
and that takes practice.
Throw your shoe off with your left foot.
And another thing with fighting games that's hard to do is tell a good story.
Yeah.
And I thought the Injustice story was rubbish.
Yeah.
It was just rubbish. It was somebody who was like, whoever decided to write the initial script, and I don't think it was anybody of note comic book wise. They were probably like, look, what I don't understand is, why didn't Superman just, like, take everybody out? I mean, take over the planet, y'all. Let's just do that.
Why is he wearing armor?
Right. Now, there's, like, 2 different Supermen or some shit like that in Injustice, like, from 2 different timelines or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
what was the most
for not knowing the
interesting
story.
Character that was in Injustice, do you think?
The first Injustice game? I liked Cyborg.
Yeah.
I thought Cyborg was dope.
Yeah. Cyborg's always been a dope character, though.
But so E3 brought us the Injustice 2 trailer.
Yes.
And also, it brought us 15 minutes of gameplay they posted as well.
Yeah. Aquaman's looking pretty cool.
The thing that I like about the whole setup to this initially is it's very Mortal Kombat. You start out with only 6 playable characters. And I don't know if that was the way it was for for Injustice 1. I don't remember.
Does each character get like 10 different costume options?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
But the thing that I am not understanding watching the gameplay is these like cutscene moves that they have that aren't finishers in like mid-match.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a Atrocitus like pukes blood all over you and he slams you through the wall and he punches you into space and then, you know, all of a sudden you've got like somebody randomly up in space like Aquaman who like knocks you down back to Earth, you know, or
and a shark swallows you.
Right, or something like that. So, you know, I don't really get on how all that like plays into whatnot. But my problem with the initial game was it takes forever to finish a round. Just one round.
Right.
It takes forever. And I don't know if there's something in the settings you could go to make the hits do more damage or whatever, but oh my gosh, I just remember it just taking forever to get through matches. And this game, it seems the same way. Like, they have an Atrocitus Supergirl match, and round 1 lasts like 5 minutes, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're trying to show you get their shit in or whatever,
right.
But still,
All the
that's
moves.
just too much. However, speaking of, Supergirl and Atrocitus are, I guess, the new characters that are going to be added into this.
Grodd, too.
Grodd,
right?
too, yeah. So you have 6 characters to play with first. Aquaman, Atrocitus, Batman, Superman, Grodd, and Supergirl. And, you know, Atrocitus kind of looks like Atrocitus. Supergirl looks sweet.
Yeah.
She looks awesome. They didn't give her the little mini skirt. She's basically looks like Superman.
Right
They Captain Marveled her, pretty
Okay.
much. She looks really cool. So, but the main selling point for me is Atrocitus has Dexstar that floats with him.
Yeah.
And he stays out there as long as you attack. Until he gets hit, Dexstar stays out there and attacks with him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat. So I'm definitely going to, like, you know, maybe give this a weekend run. It looks like Redbox written all over it, because I think that's what I did with the original Injustice, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, there's that. Let's see here. There's also, mainly for me, from what I saw, Sony won. Like, Sony had the best presentation. They had an orchestra pit. You know, you can watch it all on YouTube. It's all on there. And they had just a really nice presentation. And some of the games, I mean, first off, they introduced the PlayStation VR, which is more or less the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
You know, it's the $400 system that you could get at Christmas this year.
Yeah.
And they talked about some of the games that are going to be available for VR, like the new Resident Evil 7. It's not entirely played virtual reality, but they're VR missions, and they play one on here, and it's just a straight up like, no. I'm not even trying to just scare the balls out of myself, you know, because it's a straight, like, you know, dark room. You can only see like 3 feet in front of you. You have no peripherals. Like, it's like you have a flashlight, you know, and like they move around, and then you see someone just slowly walk by the door, and you look over, and no one's there. You know, and shit like, yeah, stuff like that. So that looks crazy. But the VR thing that I caught that I think everybody is probably going to just go crazy over is the Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing VR mission.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if it's a mission or if it's multiple missions, but the like 20-second preview they showed coming out of the hangar into space and then diving into formation, it looks awesome. And my buddy Jarrell back home, he's already pre-ordered his. He's gonna get it.
My concern is a total old man thing, right? So I'm now of the age where I have to wear progressives, right? I put contacts in when I go swimming and stuff like that, but they're really only good for medium to far. I still can't read with them.
So how good into space are you going to be able to see?
How if the VR is going to work for me or not?
Right.
You know, it might be one of those things where I'll have to go to a store and try it. I don't want to like pick it up and go home and have like a migraine for a week.
I guarantee you that there are going to be people that are going to be posting things saying, "Hi, I have the same problem as you have.
Right.
Here's what I do to where it works best for me."
Right.
You don't know, Tom. You could have your glasses on and pull it over your head and they fit.
Right, yeah.
You know?
This is true.
I think that might be the case, you know, and I think they probably take that in consideration too.
We are just on the verge of a whole new world, man.
You're not kidding, bro.
20 years from now, When this
knows?
podcast is holographic
Dude, do you remember
and
that?
virtual.
Do you remember that old hologram arcade game to where it was like this like giant like white box, right? And the screen was like this like, you know, like black mirrored thing that came down, and you looked inside there, and the game cost $1, and it was like a bunch of lights like shooting like a hologram, and you like played the video game as like this cowboy. Do you remember that?
I vaguely remember that. I had a not a quite virtual reality experience, but in Chicago down in the Navy Pier, they had a Battletech gaming center, and you sat in pods, okay, that were supposed to replicate being in the cockpit of a mech. And you had a big screen in front of you, and you had a throttle and a shifter with all your guns on it, and it felt like you were driving a mech. It was a very immersive experience. It was definitely damn good for 1993, 1994, what have you.
Yeah, the game was called Time Traveler.
How did you... Nice. Yeah. And then also, I remember in a couple of the malls, they had this VR game where you'd put on goggles and a glove, and a friend would, and then you would try to shoot each other in a maze. It looked like Lawnmower Man.
That always reminded me of like Dragon's Lair for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, Dragon's Lair, that was a fun game.
So the VR is the VR craze is back.
It's back. It's better than ever.
But the difference with the VR craze now, as it was 20 years ago, it's gonna happen.
Right? Yeah, the tech is.
Yeah, like
right.
it's gonna happen. So. Get ready for a lot of like VR themed films and TV shows and all that. Ready Player One.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be coming up. Some other games that Sony presented that I thought just looked awesome were, first off, the God of War reboot. We're back to just calling it God of War.
Right. Well, it's Viking now, right?
Yeah.
The Norse, he's got a beard.
Yep, he's got a beard.
Right, because Vikings have beards.
And he's tearing shit up.
Kratos was the reason I loved my PS2, man.
Yeah,
those God of War games.
I really wish wish they would release a collection of all the first like 3 games.
Yeah. I missed the third because I went Xbox instead of PS3.
They had boobs in it.
Yeah.
Games had boobs.
Yeah, well, it had been controversial because there was the old in out mini game in there. Where you had, because Kratos has a child with his wife, and it's all about him and his wife. Did we need to have that game in the game? No.
But was it a selling point for some weirdos?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. So this game looks like they're going to it with his son, or he's a guardian of a boy or something like that. So that ought to be pretty interesting. And a lot of people seem to really dig that. Insomniac, the gaming company that brought us like Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
They're producing the new Spider-Man game.
I know,
Did you see the preview for that?
I did.
What do you think of Spider-Man's costume?
I don't like it.
Well,
it's too busy.
Well, hear me out on
But I'd
costume.
still play.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I'd still play the heck out of it.
They got the eyes right, and that's something that they tend to like not get right. They have everything else right but the eyes. And this is kind of the opposite. However, the costume he has, I have a feeling, is going to be practical and interchangeable. If you notice that predominant white spider in the middle,
right,
he's probably going to be able to turn the blue and red into black, and that'll be his black costume.
Okay.
And then he'll probably be able to do Future Foundation Spider-Man, and you'll probably be able to do Iron Spidey out of it, and all
like
kinds
Spidey
of stuff.
2099.
Sure, all that kind of stuff. They've got skins.
Right. Well, that's the
they
thing
got
too.
Skins
is
prepared.
something that like I guess comes with age or wisdom, which is not necessarily age. Is like just wait and just see how it plays out before you decide. Yeah. I looked at the gameplay and I went, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah, man.
That looks like a blast to play.
Yeah, the old Spider-Man games that first came out on the PlayStation were the shit.
Yeah, they were.
Awesome. Let's see here. Okay, I already talked about Resident Evil 7. Oh, Final Fantasy 15 gameplay.
You didn't talk about Resident Evil. Oh, well, you talked about VR.
With the VR. That's mainly where I wanted to get.
Are you a Resident Evil guy?
Not really, no.
I always found those games to be slightly frustrating.
They're boring.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't mind a good survival horror game. You know, top of my list is the Dead Space games. Dead Space and maybe BioShock, you know.
There's a game coming out called, I was saying the Final Fantasy 15 gameplay. It's like, man, what the hell? Like, what the hell are you doing here? I don't even know what they're doing. Like, I don't even know how you can play this game. Like, it's just like madness.
Probably played one of the very first Final Fantasy games on my Nintendo. You know,
right?
I have not followed the series.
You played 7, right?
No.
You never played 7?
No, I never played 7.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I think that was a time in my life when I was out of the house more than I was home.
Right.
Kind of thing. Maybe
Final
when I was
Fantasy
traveling. Yeah, that's kind of the high water mark of that.
Yeah, it
franchise,
definitely
right?
is. It definitely is, and I mean, I went back when I first moved down here. I started playing it again about like a year and a half ago, and I think that the reason that I hold it in such high regard was
please tell me,
just for the period of time that it came out, and how it was a 3-disc game.
For what system?
PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1.
It was a 3-disc game. It was, it was just, I don't know. It was really highly anticipated. And I, for one, had never played any of the Final Fantasy games. If I see my friends play it or whatever, but I never sat down and played it.
Right.
And I think it was just the whole aspect where you now get into that like 3D imaging and all that stuff, and the summons were just so epic looking then. That, it's just like going back and like watching Masters of the Universe.
Sure.
It's like that's the way it is for me when I go back and like play a game like Final Fantasy 7. It's like, I mean, I get it. I don't think if this game was released now, it probably wouldn't, and it wasn't called Final Fantasy 7 and it was just called like, Dragon Masters or something. Like, maybe, it wouldn't hit. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the story's solid. It's a good story. And so, but with Final Fantasy 15, it's like, man, I like my Final Fantasy games to like, it's a game where you sit back and you press X here, you press X there.
Yeah.
You don't have to move your guy around and God of War combat, these things that you're trying to take down, and you got to hit them, from the right quarter angle to get them the best.
Well, I wonder if the MMO has just permanently influenced that franchise.
Who knows? And they probably want it to they want to integrate the MMO stuff with 15, I'm sure. Yeah. So that looks crazy. There's a game coming out called Days Gone.
Okay, now I didn't see this one.
Okay, so Days Gone is. They do this, like, they show this trailer at the beginning of the Sony presentation and it's the guy who played Star Killer in the Star Wars game
Force Unleashed.
Mm-hmm. Same actor. He played Doomsday on Smallville.
Yeah, right on.
All right. He is like, it's... The world's been destroyed and the world's grown over, and you're like, what? What is going on?
So like 1,000 years in the future after an apocalypse. I don't even know.
Okay. They're very ambiguous about it, but you know that it's one of those things to where everything's done, and like everything's just kind of started growing over because tech's gone. And they explain that in the trailer. We lost everything, and then this happened, and then that happened, and I'm just trying to find a way to remember what I've lost and move forward, pretty much.
So the character starts as
it's kind of like when you see like he's on a motorcycle, and everything, and you're like, okay, well, they do a really good job of not showing what's gonna happen. And like I'm like, all right, this game looks awesome, like, but you're just doing like a lead-in of this guy riding on a motorcycle telling you of this world that you're about to get into the Sony presentation. They're like, okay, now we're going to take us back to Days Gone and show you a little bit of the gameplay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so, it's like the end of the original trailer. He gets off the bike and he walks into like, this little like cabin area or whatever. And he goes in there and he's looking around, and then all of a sudden like you hear something outside. And you're like, well, what's outside? And you look outside, dude, and there's like 1,000 zombies coming toward the house. Like,
okay.
Like, I'm not kidding you, dude.
This
like,
everywhere.
I mean, bro, it's like ants. I mean, they're just in a horde, just coming towards there, right?
Uh-huh.
Pulls out the shot. It pulls out the like AK or whatever.
Yeah.
They start. He goes out the window and starts mowing them down. Just and they are flying. It's just like a game where you just sit there and just mop.
You're just hosing them with bullets.
Dude, you are hosing them, right? But they're still getting through, and they're coming, and they're coming, and they're coming. And they're getting inside the house, and he's like running up the stairs, shooting him and everything. It looks awesome.
So now,
and if that's all I'm doing, it looks like a survival horror game.
Okay, was it scary or fun?
Oh, I'm not scared of zombies.
Right.
So it looked fun to me.
But like the art, was it designed to look scary or designed to look fun?
Definitely designed to look scary.
Because you ever play, what is it, Dead Alive?
No, it's not the game where you can get the lawnmower and waste them. No.
Right.
There's that aspect of killing mass amounts of zombies, but it looks like Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
it sounds like a satisfying game.
It looks
to
awesome.
play.
Yeah. So that stood out to me. Another game we kind of talked about it earlier before we started recording was Death Stranding, the new game from Kojima.
Okay. First of all, Norman Reedus has crabs.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got lots of crabs. It's a joke. At the beginning of the trailer, you see all these dead crabs.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then you see Norman Reedus.
Right.
It's like, oh, he's got crabs, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trademarking that joke now.
I just feel like, we're going to sell this game based on just this dude because the trailer doesn't tell you anything. It's just Norman Reedus.
It's
walking around.
A completely surreal thing. He's there. He wakes up. There's dead sea life everywhere. There's a little baby with a black umbilical cord. He holds the little infant. He cries. The baby disappears. His hands are covered in oil. Then there's baby handprints on his leg in oil, and they disappear. Like, and then he goes for a long walk.
The environment.
Yeah, and all the whales are dead. And he looks up, and there's 5 beings
floating in the sky.
Floating in the sky.
Right.
It's like, is that the Justice League? Who is that back there? Yeah, and then they disappear. And, my understanding is this is, trademark work for the creator.
Yeah.
And this is his rep. And the game is nowhere near ready. So that's one of those things where it could go into development hell. Where
that's what E3 does.
Yeah. Where they'll be talking about this game for a couple of years. When is it going to come out? When is it? As the game that's the sequel to Shadow of the Colossus, which was like pretty much the reason to own a PS2. It's always number 1 on anyone's list, or number 2 maybe.
Right.
I've seen gameplay of that like for 2-3 years now. Right. It's you, and
like
you got
this Guardian.
Yeah, you get this furry animal thing, and it's helping you traverse these old ruins and all this stuff, and it's very quiet, contemplative experience. With Shadow of Colossus was a lot like it. Did you ever play that game?
No. Did you see the Last Guardian thing that they showed? What they did? They basically showed, like, remember last year at E3? They finally showed what the Last Guardian looks like, and they showed like 10 minutes of like simple gameplay.
Yeah.
They start out with that real, like, real grainy, like, crude art that they did in that one. And then there's a part where it just flips and you're like, and then they show, like, the finished product. And you're like, oh, my God. This game is, like, going to, it just looks amazing.
What my struggle is as a consumer, as a gaming consumer, is that when I pick up a game, I have to ask myself, am I going to be able to play through this game at a reasonable pace and enjoy it? Or am I going to play it because I have very limited time to play?
I feel like, I got to beat it.
Because I'm a grown-up.
Right.
And there's all this lousy grown-up stuff I have to do every day, And, like, go out and check the oil in the car, pay the bills. But I have to say, hey, is this a game I'll get through? I'll have a great time playing, and I'll be on to the next game before too long? Or is this just too much game, too many puzzles?
Right.
I don't have a weekend to figure out how to climb up a pyramid, I don't. And that's why, like, my news feed is abuzz with Overwatch.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone I know is playing Overwatch. Yeah. And, I just don't have time for that.
It's Team Fortress.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's Team Fortress with new exciting characters.
Yep,
and
that's all it is.
And all that. And, there was a time where I worked at a LAN center back in 2009, me and a buddy took some vitamins, and we played Unreal Deathmatch for 12 hours straight.
Took some vitamins?
Yeah, we took some vitamins, and I think the kills and deaths were in the thousands.
Wow.
I think I was like dying and killing like every 10 seconds.
Yeah. Unreal Tournament, Quake 3.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
They announced Quake Champions. The new Quake game's finally coming out.
All right.
So, you get Doom. You got to have Quake, too, at the same time. So we have.
What did we miss anything? Call of Duty?
Oh, well, there's the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Did you see that?
I did not.
Oh, dude, it's like what can they do next? And it's like basically you're jumping from like ship to ship, shooting guy like in space.
Okay, so it's just Call of Duty has just gone fully into space, high tech.
The next Call of Duty game is going to be like Call of Duty, not Earth. You know? And they're like you're on another planet or some shit. Another that I saw was Detroit Become Human.
I did not see that at all. What is that?
Okay, so my name is Connor. So basically, it is a forensics detective game.
Oh,
but you're an android. And
okay.
It's in Detroit in the future.
Yeah, is RoboCop there?
No. It starts out.
That would be the boss.
It starts out with them telling this guy to his name's Connor. He shows up there. And he walks in, and this woman, she's like holding her kid, and she's like, no, they can't send you. You're not even human, and all this. And he walks in, and very, no emotionless, whatever. He's got like the little like a Tron circular light on the back of his neck or whatever. It's lit up.
It's a detective game.
Yeah, and you walk in. You walk in, and this guy has got like this little girl, and he's got a gun to her head. Hostage situation. And it's like it stops, and it's like, you choose the scenario, and it's like it basically runs through all of these scenarios to where like you can choose whether to shoot him, whether not to shoot him, and all this, and you go in the room, and it's like other scenes of like looking at evidence and piecing stuff together.
Okay,
so it's not like interrogative like L.A. Noire.
Okay, there's
a solid story, and every single case, you can solve a case a different way every single time.
That's a time-consuming game that I think I would enjoy.
And it's Detroit.
Yeah, well,
they pan back at the end of it, and it's Detroit.
I wonder if I can find my dad's house. I wonder how well mapped it is.
We'll find out. Yeah. That looks awesome. So I was really excited to see that.
Or where the old red door used to be.
Right. The last game I wanted to talk about before we wrap things up here is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wind.
Okay.
Have you seen anything of that?
No, Zelda is kind of like Harry Potter to me too. It's a gaming experience that I think the timing was just wrong.
You by.
Yeah.
You didn't play the original Zelda on Nintendo?
I did not, and the thing is I totally respect the fan base and the games and the series and all that. I have nothing negative to say about it, but it's one of those things where the timing just wasn't right for me to be a Zelda head. Mm-hmm. Or whatever they...
Yeah, I mean, I've only played the 64 games. I never played any of the Nintendo or Super Nintendo stuff. But this game looks like Grand Theft Zelda, pretty much. Like, it looks like it's going to be an open world game to where you are Link, then you're becoming Zelda. I mean, you know what I'm saying. When I was a kid, I thought Zelda was like... I didn't think it was the princess. I thought Link was Zelda when he became like super powerful, like He-Man. I'm Link, and I turn into Zelda, the hero of...
I am Zelda!
Whatever the hell the land is. Yeah.
And I will defeat you.
Yeah, so I saw that, and it looks awesome, man. But it looks like one of those games to where it's like, there's so much stuff that you have to, learn to do in the game. Little mini puzzles and blah, blah,
I think there's something to be said for there being too much game in all these games.
True.
And every game wants you to, like, live in it. They have all this online stuff, the DLC.
Like, if there's not enough game, people are going to be like, there's not enough game. And then if there's too much game, they're going to be like, I don't want I just want a story, man. You know? So you're never going to...
For me, the sweet spot is a game that has about 20 to 30 hours of gameplay.
I like a game to where I have a story, and then I can break away from the story and just roam.
Yeah.
That's why I guess I like the open world stuff a lot
Sure.
better.
Did you play the Far Cry games?
No.
How about the new the Far Cry in the future with the Huntress hunting the techno dinosaurs?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
What was
man.
that? I want to say it's New Horizon, but
Is that that's the trailer I saw. Holy shit, man. That looked
I saw that last
awesome.
year. I mean,
She jumps on the back of this one and like sticks it with with a spear and like reprograms it.
Yeah.
And then like rides it in.
It looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking Far Cry Primal, which was the caveman hunting.
Okay, so those are like open world type games. And
As far as Far Cry is like geographically.
I can't do the first person, but I can do the third person stuff. I
Okay.
can't do Gears of War third person, like the over the shoulder job.
Yeah.
But I can do the straight, see the whole
When you got the
body.
whole dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about those in terms of that. But the that game looks really cool. That is one of those things where the apocalypse happened thousands of years ago.
Right, we were like
it's
way
just a complete
past that.
It's a completely different. Everything's grown over,
Right, yeah,
and all that. And
it's a new world.
She leaves the village and she encounters all these different cultures, and there's some prophecy or something.
It looks
and
so good.
it does. It just looks. And that's one of those things where Grand Theft Auto. I played all the way up to 4.
Race and chase.
Right? Yeah. I played up to 4. And then I made this paradigm shift to the Saints Row world. And I find Saints Row to be a lot more fun.
It's GTA on steroids.
Yeah. It's GTA.
I played Saints Row
If ICP was in charge of Grand Theft Auto, you would get Saints Row. It's just a lot more fun, and it does get ridiculous, but what I would always do is I'd run a couple missions, and then I'd just go crazy. You just go all over town, just do whatever you want.
Was it Lost Dogs? What was the game that... There was an open world game that came out about 4 years ago. And I was so pissed because it didn't last it was a quick game. Like, you mop it up really fast. I think it was the first Lost Dogs game. They just announced the sequel. What is the game? This is a different game. What was the game to where like you had like a fucking a wind rider? What do you call it?
A hang glider?
A parasail.
A parasail?
A parasail. You could jump out of stuff and like throw the parachute and parachute.
Did you like do base jumping and stuff?
Yeah, but it was like Grand Theft Auto.
I don't.
They've done a sequel or two.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, see, folks, this is why I don't tend to just go straight on video games because I always remember that game that you did this, but I can't tell you the title.
I do want to conclude one thing because we do have to say bye bye.
Yeah, you do.
I get the sports game thing, and one of they've gotten a little too complicated for my taste. And I'm in the minority there, where, now you play as a child in Pee Wee and then you work your way up and then you go college.
Well, they've got story modes.
Yeah.
It's where you could play as one guy and you can live the entire career.
Yeah, the whole career of the guy. It's crazy. But with a sports game, it's a finite game. You're gonna pick a team to play against. You're gonna play the game, and then you can put the game away.
Yep.
You don't need a game guide. You don't need where the collectibles are. You don't need to solve puzzles. You just have to be able to play the game. Yep. And that's one thing that I've always appreciated about sports games is that like it's a complete experience. It's different every time.
It's a different being good at any video game takes skill.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things to where it's like, I know how to build things out of wood really well. Well, I know how to build things out of metal really well. It's like one of those things. Like, I can play the shit out of an NHL game, but for the life of me, I couldn't survive 5 minutes in Call of Duty. Extreme warfare,
there'd be a bunch of 8-year-olds throwing knives at you, killing you from a mile away.
Exactly. GoldenEye was the limit of my
GoldenEye!
Love it. Love it. So anyway, that's going to wrap things up. That's our E3 wrap-up here. Matty Loves Podcast, rolling on strong. That concludes another episode. For Dr. Tom Lucas, I'm your host, Matt D. Simone. Come back and see us again on Matty Loves Podcast.
Matty Loves Podcast. Matty Loves Podcast.